book was written by the same person who wrote Legend of Exorcism and River Bay Road, Men's Dormitory. This is in the way future where humans are enslaved by robots and they're trying to free themselves and leading a revolution with the help of clones. The main character, he is one of these enslaved humans, and he knows that if he makes a vile mistake or if he is caught and displeases a robot or even a clone, he will be killed right then and there. Or if he makes several mistakes on a list, because they're kept on an eye on these humans, and if they make a list of mistakes that prove them not worthy of living, they will be killed. And their parts made into stuff to make clones later down the line. Yes, clones are made from humans, dead humans. The robots get to live on top of land while humans live underneath the land. And the area humans are kept are the ant nest. Now, humans are allowed to go to the surface when they're working for robots, but when they're not doing their work, they're supposed to stay in the ant nest. The main character does not do this. He likes to sneak out and he wants to build his own robot. This is what he's doing. He's building a robot, one that's not influenced by the father, which is the, controller of all robots and clones, that it won't be influenced by father, and he's using this robot to be able to escape, because it is led to believe that some humans were able to escape when father, the clones, and the robots took over and escaped to another land where they're safe and have their own area where they will survive and thrive, and he's hoping to go there. So he's building a robot and a ship to escape this area and go to the area where it's safe for humans. The main character, while he was working on his robot, he stole a piece from a clone because he's a technician. That's the work he does. He stole a piece from a clone and he put the piece into his robot. And his robot starts talking. This weirds him out because he didn't give his robot any official intelligence. Like, his robot's just supposed to follow his commands and have no opinions or ideas of its own. But it starts speaking, and he realizes the piece that he took from the clone was actually a piece that is information about the rebellion the clones and humans are leading against father and the robots. There are clones who are trying to save the humans, who are trying to make better lives for themselves and the humans. Even though thousands of years ago, the clones were the ones who gave father the rights over humans, clones, and robots. This is where the main character also discovers the male lead. He sees what is basically this out in the ocean, and he's like, what is that? So he brings it to shore, opens it up, and discovers the male lead sleeping inside of it. He's pretty sure it's a human, the male lead is, and he has to drag the male lead out, and once the male lead wakes up, the male lead physically assaults him, and he has to calm the male lead down. And he's like, you know what, I saved your life, but I'm not taking you to the ant nest. You're on your own, dude, and just abandons the male lead. Well, the male lead is like, yeah, no, you're not abandoning me. I'm following you. He follows the main character to the ant nest, kills a few robots on his way, which gets him detained, and they were going to kill him, but he states, I'm here for a specific human, the main character. So they're like, we're not going to kill you until we get hold of the human that, you're searching for, that led you to kill a few of us. So yes, they bring him there in front of everyone, and the main character's like, oh no, he doesn't even realize what he's done. He doesn't realize that him killing a few robots is going to get both of us killed. So he tries saving the male lead. This only gets them both imprisoned. Luckily though, during the period of time they're imprisoned, this is when the rebellion starts, even though the rebellion was supposed to start the very next day. While escaping, the main character and the male lead comes across the professor who's been detained and imprisoned by father for a very, very long time. For probably as long as the male lead has been asleep, for 1,000 years at least. Probably not as long as the male lead, but for a very long time. And he tells them to hand over a chip to one of the great generals of the rebellion army, General 1. He hands it over to them and also pricks the main character in the finger and puts something inside the main character, and then he dies. Several clones of the rebellion army finds them and helps them escape, puts them on some sort of ship, but the ship gets attacked and goes down. Now they have no way to get to a certain location. Sooner or later, they figure out how to deal with it because the main character is really intelligent when it comes to machinery. So they're able to, I guess, get back up, which, leads them Ellie climbing up the tower. I was really confused about this part. I'm very bad. We all know this. I'm very bad at understanding stuff. But yes, somehow the male lead ends up on top of Father's tower, which there's several of these, and just becomes literally dazed. And this is when the main character's robot comes to the male lead, and the main character's saves them and destroys this piece of Father and then gets both of them out of there. It was literally confusing, this entire read. I was like, what is going on? I'm a little confusing. I just know there's fighting here and there. Clones are dying. They're trying to escape. They almost die. They use the main character's intelligence. The male lead is dazed. They're destroying this piece of Father. It was a lot of things. And the main character knows that it wasn't technically his robot that saved them. Somebody was inside his robot or programmed his robot to save them, because his robot was acting like it had official intelligence. His robot has not been brought back up for as far as I has read. And up to the male lead coming face to face with this part of Father, the male lead had no memories of who he was, but he starts getting back his pieces of memories and then sooner or later does fully remember who he is. So on their travels, they come across a group of humans and Clone Dad, and the humans were trying to kill Clone Dad, even though Clone Dad has done so much for them, was helping them, supporting them, taking care of them. They're betraying him, basically backstabbing him. And the main character and the male lead had to get between the humans and Clone Dad and save the Clone Dad's life. And when they get him away from the humans, they find out that he's part of the rebellion army. He has a nice cushy position in the rebellion army. And he was just doing his rights to save the human refugees from the, city of steel. He was doing his job only to get betrayed. Now, these group of humans that betrayed him does end up joining their little group on their path to continue to the base of the rebellion, and they get to the base of the rebellion, and the rebelliers are like, yeah, we're not taking all of you, we're just taking Clone Dad and the little girl that was with them into the base. Now, Clone Dad does let the main character and male lead in later, but don't let the rest of the humans in, because again, they tried to kill him. Clone Dad and the male lead sends the main character and the Clone Dad's son, which is a human child, away, sends them to Phoenix City for their own safety and good, while the male lead's going to stay back with the Clone Dad and figure out some more stuff out before they head to the same location as the two they're sending away. On their travels to Phoenix City, they meet a bard who tells them about faith and stories and higher powers and themselves. And once they arrived to the location they were heading, they had to diverse into different paths, and he provides them money. He also gets called a higher title, so he seems to be more than a bard. And I repeatedly tried to say what the word, the title is, and I kept failing to pronounce it to the point I literally was bawling from how much I was trying to pronounce this word and was failing to. And it's such an easy word to pronounce, yet I was failing to pronounce it. But yes, he provides them the funds that leads them to Phoenix City, and by the time they arrive to Phoenix City, they run out of funds.